Most trigonometric equations are solved by either some type of factorising or using the quadratic formula. So first of all, what we need to do is to play around with this a little bit using an identity, and then ultimately get it equal to 0, and then see if we can indeed solve it. So the identity we're going to use is that tan of x is equal to sine of x over cos of x. The next thing we're going to do is multiply throughout by cos of x, which will give us 4 sine x cos x equals 3 sine x. Now, as mentioned, we want this to be equal to 0, so let's bring the sine 3x to the other side, or essentially subtract 3 sine x from each side to give us this, and then you'll see I've gone one step ahead, and I've noticed that the two terms on the left hand side in fact had a common factor of sine x, so I've pulled that out as a factor, and I've now got the sine of x times by, in parenthesis, 4 cos x minus 3, close parenthesis, is equal to 0. So therefore either sine x is equal to 0, or the bracket containing 4 cos x minus 3 is equal to 0, and that leads me to the following. Now I'll pause after I've written this little bit down here. Okay, so either sine x is 0, and all I've done here is use that general solution that we discussed in order to write down automatically x is equal to either 0, and as is always the case because of the symmetry of the sine function, 180 minus 0, plus any multiple of 360, and of course that could also be n could be minus 1, minus 2, i.e. subtracting multiples of 360. For cosine, the inverse cos of 3/4 is apparently 41.4 according to the calculator, and then according to the symmetry of the graph, minus 41.4 will lead to the other branch of solutions, and again you can add on any multiple of 360. So the final job is now just to list down the solutions in the given domain. So we can see from the first part of the solution 0 works. We can also see that 180 works. No point adding non-multiples of 360 because they'll take us outside the domain. Looking from the cos x equals 3/4 part, we can see that 41.4 will work. Minus 41.4 falls outside the given domain, but if we add 360 on, it will give us the final solution. And there we go, the problem is solved.